Hey everyone, welcome to Family Magic UK. Today's episode is day 4 of our Halloween trip. This is the last full day we had in the parks because Friday, which was the following day, we travel home after spending the morning in the park. But that'll be next week's episode. So our last full day in the park. This time what we decided was, rather than getting up late, we actually got up a bit earlier than we had the last couple of days. And we actually managed to get to the park for 10 o'clock. And it was because we knew we weren't going to stay late in the park on this day. And we wanted to get back to the hotel, like late afternoon, early evening, chill and pack, for going home the following day. And we were going to eat in the hotel again because we really liked the food there from the night before. So yeah, it was the last time getting the bus to the park, and it was another great day. No rain forecast, and it was still really warm. I think Thursday was like 21 degrees. So not as hot as the day before, but it was still, comfortably warm, didn't need a jacket. It was, great. And funny enough, and it's always the case, when you're doing something new or doing something for the first time, you always figure it out or how to do it properly towards the end, either the end of the day or the end of the holiday. And this day we finally found the entrance for Magic Plus Pass and Infinity Pass holders. Whereas the other 3 days we've been going through the gates like everybody else. So if you want to know where it is, as you're looking at the Disneyland Hotel, we found the left-hand side. So you'll have walked past them when you're leaving the park, if you've been before, because they're usually where you exit. But in the mornings, it's the pass entrance. So, that was finally, that was fun to find where that was. And obviously it worked, no problem, because that was the proper entrance. So now we know where we can go with our passes. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can't go in the main gates. It's not as if you can't. But it was just nice that we found, so that's where the annual passes can go, So we got in to Disneyland, and straight away Mickey was there, welcoming everyone. I can't remember if they did this before COVID, or if it's just for the anniversary. I mean, obviously he was in his anniversary outfit, and he did this welcoming and saying goodbye every day in March when we went. And it was great that they were still doing that. So yeah, he was there in his fab purple blue outfit, waving to everyone and, giving everyone loads of waves and smiles and kisses. And yeah, it's great. And like they play the song for the parade as well, which is great because, it's such a good song. And it's a nice start to the day. So Finlay went straight up there and was trying to get Mickey's attention and was waving. And then finally Mickey noticed them, which was lovely. And we had already decided in the morning that we were going to meet characters this day, because apart from Jack Skellington on the very first day, we hadn't done any. We're just doing all the rides, and we saw characters, especially in the Avengers bit, but we didn't queue up for any. So this day, we made sure that we were going to get some in, because there were some characters in, special Halloween outfits that we're not going to get any other time of the year. With Jacob's Priority Pass, we can go to the cast member at the very front of the queue and get a booking time. So he'll check, the diary and give us the next available time slot. And luckily, the first character we decided to meet was Max. Goofy's son, because Jacob and Finlay are huge fans of a Goofy movie. And Max is a character that they don't always have out in the park. So, and he had this fab Halloween outfit on. So it was like, I had to get him. And luckily it was only a 20-minute wait. So we got our time and Ben quickly got a coffee. And then before you knew it, we had to go back. And yeah, it was such a good interaction. It was just nice, and you know, he was really good with the boys. Jacob was not sure like what to do, like if he was gonna stand next to him or if he wanted to just look at him. You know, so even though, you know, we want the photo and we want the interaction, it's also nice to see that Jacob just likes looking as well and observing, and you know, he could obviously see that he recognized the character. Like, I think he knew who it was and he just wanted to sort of take it all in. But at the same time, you know, because there's like other people that want their turn, it's like, oh, we still need to get, you know, a photo and whatnot. But yeah, Max was good, and he was so little as well, which was fab. I'd love it if they did a Max and Goof meet, because Goofy was on the opposite side. He was like a mad scientist, and unfortunately we didn't get our photo with him. Hopefully we'll get him at Christmas time. And oh, I think like Jacob would love that even more, you know, because he recognizes them together because of the film, not separate. So yeah, but no, great interaction. And we then went over to Chippendale. Now, they were in the gazebo area in Main Street. It's funny because in France, they're called tic-et-tac, not Chippendale. And, but they were in these fab, like, purple outfits. And they had a huge queue. But we did manage to get a time, but it was like another hour or so, or just, no, it was about an hour and a half till our time with them. So it was like, right, let's get right into the park and do some stuff, and then we'll come back for our turn. So we had a nice like walk up to the castle because Ben had his coffee. And when we got to the bridge at the entrance of the castle, we spotted like there was this stage at the side. Now, we had seen the stage, I knew it was there, but I'd not looked at it when we'd walked towards the castle before. And basically that's where like they do this villain show, and we just happened to walk on the bridge video. So it was Cruella, the evil queen from Snow White, and Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog. And they came out of these doors at the back of the stage, and they were there, and like they were waving at us, and then like the song that we had heard during the fireworks came on, and then they went out to the front of the stage and they did this like dance, and they each obviously had a turn. And then when that finished, they then went down to the crowd that was barriered off by a rope, and they then go down and interact. And I think another time the Ugly Sisters from Cinderella and Madame Tremaine were out as well. So that was good that we saw that, because the boys aren't really interested in those characters. But, you know, for me and Ben, we know who they are. And it was fab that we actually got to see what that show was, albeit it was at the back. So then we walked through the castle, which was fab. And then we went and attempted to take the sword out of the stone, which was, oh, so fun. Well, it was nice for him to do that, you know, with Ben and Jacob. And then we decided to just continue walking right to the back of the park and meet Mickey. Why not? Keep the character meets going. We didn't have to wait long. So I was really excited about this particular meet because Mickey is like our favourite. You know, he's my favourite character and he's Jacob's favourite character. And obviously Finley and Ben, you know, they like him as well. Like Finley, he'd probably say Mickey's his favourite as well. But this was going to potentially be the first time we might hear Jacob actually say something to Mickey. I was hoping that he might say his name. And like, Mickey's name is mentioned in our house, I don't know how many times a day. And he knows who Mickey is. He knows that's his name. And I was hoping that he would finally say Mickey. And in case I've not mentioned it before, or you're not sure what I'm talking about. So Jacob is non-verbal autistic. So he mainly uses pictures for communicating. They're called picture exchange cards because he didn't really get into the signing, but the pictures he used very early on as a way to let us know what he wanted. But this year, he's actually been saying words, which obviously has been wonderful. And, you know, and hearing his voice, and it's just fab. And we're moving on to more work with the school to encourage it and to keep it going and to, you know, get him to the next stage where, yes, he'll still use the pictures, but more words than pictures. So this meet I was really looking forward to because I wanted to see if he would say a word or words to Mickey. And yeah, he did. He said hi because he can say hi and hiya. And I mean, Finley was right in there, you know, with Mickey. And again, Jacob was just clearly wanting to sort of observe. So when the photographers were trying to take photos, you know, he was like coming away, but turning around and looking at Mickey with Finn.
Jacob, say cheese. Cheese.
Look at me.
There, stand over there. Stand. Jacob, say hi. 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 Yeah.
So it's not like it wasn't wanting to be there, but he just wanted to look at him and to see him. And he was going back and forth, which was lovely. And then at the end, I managed to get this little video of him saying bye.
Bye.
Say bye, everything. Kiss.
And obviously, lump in my throat. And, you know, as I'm saying goodbye to the cast members, I'm trying not to cry because it was just so magical to hear him say bye to Mickey and to blow him kisses. And, you know, and that's why, you know, one of the reasons we got the pass was because seeing how Jacob is in the park, it's not like it is at home. He's so happy and he loves being there. And I love seeing how he is when he does see things that he's watched on the TV, but seeing it in real life. And it doesn't frighten him. And, you know, he doesn't get stressed. If anything, he's joyful. He's himself. You know, it's great. And yeah, and that's where the magic of Disney is amazing and so unique, you know. And like when we were in the queue to wait for our turn, or like the cast member that like talks to you just before you can go in. Was speaking to Finlay, and she went to speak to Jacob, and Finlay said to her, Jacob doesn't talk, which obviously we laughed, but I then explained to the girl, he doesn't speak, he's autistic, but he is starting to say words. So when it was our turn, she like stood at the side of where we walked through and notified Mickey, and actually like spoke to Mickey and says, Mickey, we have a special boy coming to see you. And I guess that's their key word to say, that just be a bit patient. It's not going to be like other interactions, that he might behave differently, and to just try and like go with how he is. And they were great. They were so good. And, and they were constantly speaking to him and trying to get him to, like obviously get him to look at the camera when they were trying to take pictures, but in a really good way. And yeah, and that's why Disney is so magical and we love it. So far we're having a fantastic morning. And so after Mickey, Finlay randomly decided that he wanted to go on Pinocchio. I don't know why, but he was like, Mummy, I want to go on Pinocchio. And so we were like, right, okay, we've still got time to kill. I think we still had like 40 minutes until it was our turn with Tiki Tak. So we did Pinocchio and Snow White because they were right next door to each other. And with Jacob's priority pass, we can get on them quite quickly. I mean, the rides themselves are not exactly long. So they're, when you're not having to queue with everyone else, you can do those story rides really quickly. So once we did those rides, we just took a stroll back down Main Street towards the gazebo. And I think we managed to get there like 10 minutes before our turn. And yeah, I've never done Chippendale before, and I'd seen some fantastic videos of other people who've done them and photos. And I think like Goofy and Stitch, they're those characters that are ideal for those who A, are fans of that character, B, like Disney bounding, or, have really fun outfits on, because those character meets you can get amazing interactions out of. And those are the ones that are worth queuing for, As well, the cast members don't rush you. And you can take your time. And like the family that we were waiting on to finish, I mean, they had a good 10-15 minutes with Tiki Tak, Chippendale. And the way that they did it was like a family of 3. And each of them got an interaction with Chippendale, because they were videoing them as well. And they each got their own individual photos as well as a group photo. So I was really, really looking forward to seeing them, because like Finlay's watched The Rescue Rangers, which I watched when I was a kid. And obviously the new live action, like sequel sort of Chippendale film that came out on Disney Plus, Finlay's watched a couple of times and he really likes it. So, and they're in, the Mickey Mouse cartoons as well. So Jacob knows who they are as well. And yeah, they were so fun.
No, mais je monter un
Oh.
do this.
Jacob! Jacob!
You don't get some photographer here?
Jacob! Yeah, oh, that was so good. I was laughing at them and how Finlay was. And yeah, they were really good. And again, they just let Jacob, you know, look, observe, and then go in. And yeah, but unfortunately, we couldn't then get Goofy because they're only out at certain points of the day. And there was other things that we needed, that we wanted to get done, and that we needed to get done that day because it was our last full day. Because we'd still not done the Halloween parade. So we knew we had to watch what we were doing in order to get to that parade. Because we knew we wouldn't catch it the following day because of the time we had to leave to start travelling home. So when we finished with Chip and Dale, we still had a bit of time to kill before the parade started. So we headed over to do Buzz Blasters because we'd not done that yet. So we did that, and then we just like had a walk around, you know, did the usual pee and whatnot, top up the water, because, you know, we were then going to get our spot. Luckily this time, where we were allowed to stand with Jacob's pass, Ben was actually allowed to stand right next to us where the rope was, which was fab. But we were waiting for ages for it to start. And from where it comes from as well, it's like it's a small world area. And it took ages. Like we could hear something, but it took a while for them to get to, because where we were stood, like the roundabout bit in front of the castle. So we were stood on a bit looking towards the castle, but it was the Frontierland side. And it wasn't a massive area. So by the time we could hear that the parade was starting, it was really crowded where we were. I had not watched anything. Like, I had not seen any spoilers. I didn't know who was in the parade. I didn't know what the song was like. So it was nice to sort of, when it started and, you know, it was like, oh, this is a catchy song. Because the 30th anniversary parade is so good, and it's like, I don't want to compare every parade to that. But like the 30th anniversary parade, there had 4 main floats, and each float had different characters on them. And they had like 1 or 2 main Fab 5 characters on each float as well. So Daisy was down with the dancers. She was actually walking around, which was fab. Minnie was on a float. Mickey was on a float. I can't remember if Goofy was in it. I don't remember seeing him, but Scrooge McDuck and Donald were on a float. And then the 4th float was all the Winnie the Pooh characters, which was so good because we'd not seen them on a float before. And Winnie the Pooh, oh, Jacob loves Winnie the Pooh. And the way that they did it, they came out to the roundabout bit and they then stopped. So it was like they were in positions around so that the people that were in that area could get, you know, at least one main float. And where we were stood, so like Winnie the Pooh was kind of like on our left, and then Donald Duck and Scrooge McDuck's was in like the middle, going down towards Main Street, and Daisy and her dancers were floating between Winnie the Pooh and Donald Duck's one. So we got a really good view of those 2 floats and of Daisy, and she came right up to us as well. And she gave, I think it was Ben, she blew Ben a kiss. And oh, the costumes were so good, and it was all like about autumn. Winnie the Pooh float was all like about harvest, and all the characters were on it, like Eeyore, Tigger, Rabbit, Piglet, and Winnie the Pooh. And it was fab. So like they did a bit of a dance and whatnot, and then the float started to move. And unfortunately, Minnie's float didn't come all the way around. So we didn't get a really close up of what her float was like. But Winnie the Pooh came past us, which was amazing. Jacob, you know, was just mesmerized. And then we finally saw Mickey's float, because his float was at the bit right in front of the castle, and luckily his float came round our side, and he had the bride, and I'm not going to get his name right, but it's from the Haunted Mansion. So it's the character that's got the hat and the coat, the spade on the ride. He's got the spade, like the digging spade, so like the grave digger. Well, it was him and the corpse bride, not the corpse bride, the bride from Phantom Manor. And they were so good. Like their makeup and everything was fab. And then Mickey was like in different outfits on his float. And then right at the back was Huey, Dewey and Louie, and they were dressed in their outfits from the Trick or Treat cartoon. And then walking, or should I say, dragging their feet behind the back of Huey, Dewey and Louie was the zombie dancers. And that was like the end of the back of the parade, and then it moved all the way down Main Street. No, it was good. I'm glad we got a good spot as well. When that finished, because of where we were stood, we went on Thunder Mountain again. It was like, why not? Just in case we don't get on it tomorrow, like the next day. So we did that, and then we wanted to go because of the time, because it was like getting to 3 o'clock. And I said to Ben, right, I want to get to the Christmas shop, because I wanted to see if there was any other Christmas ornaments that I'd want, because I got quite a few when we were in March. And what I had seen in some of the other shops weren't really anything that I was like really bothered about getting. And there was none from like Shop Disney. They didn't have any of those ones in any of the shops in the park. So I really wanted a good look in the Christmas shop. What did I get from the Christmas shop? I think I just got one or two baubles. Yeah, it was Chip and Dale, or Tiki Tack. And there was another one. Oh, I can't remember. I'm going to be doing a video of my tree anyway with all my ornaments, because it's all Disney, so I'll do it then. But yeah, I think it was just two that I got. There wasn't really anything in there that was anything different to what was there in March. It was really disappointing, to be honest. In fact, all the shops were disappointing. There wasn't that much new stuff from when we were there in March. Or just as we were coming out, I think it was Ben that noticed I didn't have my ears. And I'd taken them off to go on Thunder Mountain, but I'd just put them in my bag, because the bag that I had an ear pocket at the front. Yeah, I must have not put the fastener on properly. And yeah, I lost my ears, and like we tried to trace our steps back, and we went all the way back to Thunder Mountain. And like I asked a cast member if anything had been found. I says, look, I had them when I came off the ride because I put them in my bag. But I think they might have come off as I walked away, like as I then started to walk. And yeah, she said nothing had been handed in, but I bought them off of Etsy, and they were Haunted Mansion ears. And Ben said, to be honest, if anyone was to find those ears, they're going to keep them. because how good they were. I was so gutted, and to be honest, it kind of like killed the rest of the day for me. It just was on my mind, like how silly it was that I hadn't fastened them in properly and that I'd lost them. Because they were just so nice. We tried to look for them, you know, we couldn't waste any time really looking any further than where we were. All we could do was just go back the same way and hope that we would come across them. I mean, we even checked the tops of bins, because there was previous days where we had noticed where people had put like a hat on top of a bin. Yeah, we had seen some things on top of bins, and so we were checking all the bins where we were and where we'd walked, but no, they were gone. So whoever found them, you're welcome. So yeah, so we decided then to go back into Hollywood Studios because we really wanted to try the Stark Factory, because we weren't planning on eating till later anyway. So I thought, right, let's try their macaroni and cheese. And we said we would share it, and then it should tie us until we get back to the apartment, to the hotel room, back to the hotel room, and we eat later. So we got there and we walked in, and straight away there was the Hulkbuster. And it's basically a bigger Iron Man outfit. And that is right in the middle of the entrance of the Stark Factory restaurant. And it was huge. Like, it was so big. So we walked in, and like, I'm taking a video of the Hulkbuster, and then I could hear this announcement. I thought it was part of the restaurant because it wasn't really loud, but it was loud enough where you could just hear. The announcement was saying, you know, please exit the restaurant. There is an incident, please leave the premises. But we thought it was just because it wasn't loud. And then a cast member had to say to us, no, you have to go. You have to leave. And we thought, oh, maybe there's a fire in the kitchen. And we came out, and the whole area outside was packed. Absolutely packed. We just had a seat. And I says, oh, we'll give it a minute. You know, maybe like they've burnt something and it set an alarm off. And they have to, like, you know, not realising it was actually bigger than that. And we were going to then give up on the food, and we went to go to the web ride. And again, there was cast members standing where you walked in and telling people no, you know, and we kind of like realised it was really, we couldn't hear anything. Like, we could obviously see and hear all the people around us, but we couldn't hear any music. Like, the Marvel music wasn't playing anymore, which we found odd. And Ben was like, oh, maybe they're having an issue. And I said, right, come on then, we need to do something, so let's go to Ratatouille. And we're walking, and we got all the way to Ratatouille, and again, they weren't letting anyone in. And it turned out that there was a power outage for the entire park. By the time we'd sat for a bit, walked to Ratatouille, and then walked back to the entrance, they managed to get, there was like another announcement that we could hear, but we couldn't hear it very clearly. We could hear some music again. And people were able to buy in the shops for some reason. Like, the shop was they still had customers in there. And it looked like that they were able to do transactions, no problem, from what we could see through the windows. So yeah, that kind of killed the rest of the day. We went into the Walt Disney Studios shop on the way out. And I managed to get a couple of bits. Because like I say, the shops were working fine. It was the park itself. Like the rides and everything. So they're obviously on a different system to the shops. Which is weird, but anyway. Just walked through, got our bus back. And we just chilled at the hotel. And, you know, obviously packed. And we got burgers from the bar downstairs, which were, yeah, they were fine. We both had the same. It was like this barbecue beef burger. And yeah, that was nice. And we got the boys just chicken nuggets and chips. And yeah, and we went to bed early because we wanted to be up at the Crack of Hearts the next day. With it being our last day, we want to be in the park for the opening. So yeah, because I'd lost my ears, it did really put me in a bit of a mood, like a mood kill. I didn't video anything apart from the Hulkbuster in the Stark Factory. And then when we couldn't get on anything, I put my phone away, you know. It was like, I can't believe this, you know, we've only got tomorrow. And then, so yeah, so I'm going to end this video here because, yeah, nothing else exciting happened. And I didn't take photos or videos of our food because it was nothing special. It was just hotel food, but it was nice. The next episode is obviously going to be the last day. You know, and we did get lots done considering we only had like 4 hours in the park before we needed to sort of make our way back to the car. So that will be in the last episode of this series. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I hope you stick around to see the last episode. And just so you know, in terms of, you know, when I film this and whatnot, tomorrow we will be packing for our next trip. So that will be its own, you know, new series. So I will get this one up ASAP, and hopefully you're watching it, you know, before we go on our next trip, which is Wednesday. And then the last episode will be done next week. So when we're back from our Christmas trip, so that I can get the Christmas videos out as soon as possible. So yeah, please like and subscribe. Click that bell button so you don't miss out on the new videos, because we do have other things that we've started to film for new series. You know, just to keep you entertained until the next trip. And yeah, have a magical day.